So you've been teaching this thing for a while about the unique self. That's kind of an interesting new concept, you know? I think that a lot of the traditional ideas about awakening or enlightenment is it's kind of impersonal. You know, you kind of disappear like a dewdrop into the ocean, there's nothing left. But this unique self-teaching, it recognizes that there is a gift, a quality that is both personal and universal. So tell me about it. How did all that come about?
Yeah, no, thank you. I mean, unique self-enlightenment is all about the personal, but not the personal at kind of level one personality, but the personal that comes online after you fully embrace the impersonal. That's the key to the whole thing, right? There's two levels of personal. One is separate self, small, personality, grasping, and then I get beyond that. I say, wow, I'm part of the one. I'm part of the seamless code of the universe. Awesome, blows my mind. And then I realize that then I awaken again, deeply, more deeply, and I realize, wow, I'm part of the seamless code of the universe, but that code is seamless, it's not featureless. Right? And I am its unique feature. Right? I am the personal face of essence. And the reason enlightenment basically has become irrelevant, right? Mainstream world does not care about enlightenment, is because people feel that in the enlightenment teaching, there's a requirement to give up my identity. And so the teachers say, yeah, you do, you got to give up your identity. And of course, that's not true. You have to give up your small self, but what you get is your large, unique self. Right? Your large self is not impersonally blah, right? It's not a drop, right, in the ocean. It's a unique drop in the ocean that never was, is, or will be, right? And everyone kind of teaches, well, you're not special. You think you're special, you won't find peace. And that's a line out of the Course in Miracles. Well, that's not exactly true. You're not special at the level of ego, personality, separate self. Get beyond that, realize why I'm a true self. My true self is part of the one. Total number of true selves in the world, one. I'm part of the one fabric. But that true self sees uniquely from a particular set of eyes. So there is no true self that's not a unique self. Arjuna and Marc, right, are both part of the one, but we're utterly unique expressions of the one. That's not an accident. That's not a mistake you got to get over. That's actually essence that you have to embrace. You are the personal face of essence. So if we can actually understand that, then enlightenment for the first time will become relevant.
So I'm curious, I actually don't personally use the word enlightenment very much. So I'm kind of curious, because actually the word enlightenment is actually not really part of my vocabulary. I don't really, it's a word that I've heard used for a long time in my life, and at a certain point about 20 years ago, something shifted in me, that in that moment I realized there was actually no such thing as enlightenment. So that was true for me, at least it came clear to me that the word enlightenment was a concept that didn't actually point to anything real. So I'm curious, when you use that word, what do you mean by enlightenment?
Well, I think enlightenment points to something real. It points to an experience in which you realize that you're no longer merely a skin-encapsulated ego. You actually have a felt, first-person, embodied experience that you're part of the larger context. You're part of a larger frame. You're part of a larger oneness. Right? That's what enlightenment means in its core, and I think it's a really good signifier. I think it actually points to that experience. The weakness is that experience is just one moment along the way.
Yeah.
And that moment along the way has been made the end of the story.
Yes.
And it's not, it's a moment, it's an important moment along the way.
Well, you see, the thing that I find interesting is that when people use that word, that moment, there may be many moments along the way, and they may have different degrees of depth and different insights that come with them. So to talk about enlightenment like it's some sort of
be all
thing,
and all, right?
Or some sort of fixing that's going to be the same for everybody. It seems that we all have moments of awakening, but they're all very different. So consequently, I'm curious if there is any one experience or condition that really universally answers to the word enlightenment, or if actually it seems to me it's a kind of very catch-all word that includes all kinds of things.
I think there's a lot of ways to get there, but enlightenment describes something real. right? In all the traditions and all the experiences, it describes something real, which is an awakening out of the slumber of being merely separate. That's the good news. The bad news about enlightenment, the way it's talked about is that it doesn't distinguish between levels of consciousness. And therefore it says, give up your separate self, and with that, give up your sense of being special, your sense of being unique. And what we're saying in unique self-enlightenment teaching is that when you give up your separate self and your specialness, you're giving it up at the level of your ego. But actually, you then realize, wow, I'm part of the one, and then you reclaim everything you gave up. Your uniqueness, your specialness, right, are all expressions of your highest unique self. And that's a big deal. So when I reclaim that sense of being special, right, you reclaim it in this powerful way. Well, let me say it more simply, Arjuna. At the level of ego, when you say I'm special, you say it like this: I'm special. Not you. Me. I'm special. So it's got a kind of competitive edge, a kind of aggressiveness to it, a kind of meanness. At the level of unique self, when you say I'm special, you say, I'm special. And it's just this delight at this gift that you've been given by the universe, right? Which is your uniqueness, and it fully opens up to embrace your specialness, right? It creates this context for, wow, I'm special and you're awesome, you're awesomely special, and let's go be special together. Because if we're not special, why am I around? And what am I here for? I'm an extra on the set. And that's really the wrong enlightenment teaching that's gotten kind of spread in the name of enlightenment, which has actually undermined the ability of enlightenment to actually make a difference in the real world.
It's actually a very interesting question, you know, when you kind of dive into these things, to ask, you know, am I appearing in your movie, or are you appearing in my movie? Or are we both appearing in a bigger movie, the director of whose name we don't know?
And the answer, of course, is all of the above.
All of the above.
All of the
and
above.
none of the above.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
Great. Well, this is interesting stuff. You've actually got a book. I think you finished a book, haven't you?
Yeah, no, a book coming out called Your Unique Self, The Future of Enlightenment.
Sweet.
Which is really about the democratization of enlightenment, about making it actually a genuine option for every human being.
Great.
Because it's the one thing, real enlightened consciousness, at the level of unique self-enlightenment, is the one shift in consciousness that can actually change things. And we're faced with really global problems of a really intense degree, and it's only a genuine shift in consciousness that will allow us to actually engage and create the possibility needed to go the next step as humanity and as the world, as sentient being.
Thank you.
Yo.